Hey guys, this is Austin Ward for Lettermen Row. We got a full episode of Lettermen Live coming your way from Roosters, brand new. Got these guys back from the cruise. They're going to talk about what they did with Roosters out there. We're going to preview the NFL Combine, and spring ball is just a week away. Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, thank you. If you haven't been on the Buckeye Cruise, listen to that first part for sure, and then stay for the rest. It's amazing.
Yes, Combine coming up. Ohio State, 11 players out there. We got a lot to talk about.
Spring football coming up. How the winter conditioning affects where your depth chart is going into spring football.
Let's get it.
All right.
Big time.
Attack and dominate. Let's go. Hey, everybody. Welcome into Roosters on Olentangy River Road in Columbus, Ohio. This is Lettermen Live, brought to you by our good friends at Roosters, as always, every Monday. Hey, the cruise is over. So the fast is over.
All those diets.
Anthony Schlegel is going to attack and dominate probably everything on this table. The quarterback, Jay-Z's back. He's rested a little bit. Yeah. And Mike Doss, he had himself a good time out there as well. Guys, how was the cruise?
Beautiful, man. It was a great experience. I hadn't been in 7 years, so I was excited to get back, be with all the guys. You know, we added some players, have some young guys, Terry McLaurin, Paris Campbell, Johnny Dixon, Zeke's on the boat. So it was kind of good to just see that those different layers of decades of athletes and just, being with my guys. I mean, The big thing is, you're raising a lot of money for the James Cancer Center.
Record-setting amount, right?
Record-setting amount. That was awesome. And then, but for me, I kind of got a chance to see the difference of, 7 years, like how
it's grown a lot since
how the cruise has grown, how advanced and more streamlined and efficient things have gotten. It was a great opportunity for me and my wife to enjoy each other. So we got to have some date nights on the boat, different experiences.
Yeah, missed a couple of things they needed to be at. Waiting on the bulldog, the can bulldog to come in.
He was on his own schedule.
I was on the boat. I was on the boat.
Yeah, I had to give him a hard time about that. But 4.25, and that's the number. That's what it's all about. And it's just crazy the amount of things goes year round that people are doing to raise money for this Buckeye Cruise. And like Mike said, it's kind of like a family reunion. For us. Yeah. To get back on with guys that we played with or we've been around and, you get to spend some time with and see. And it's just, it's a good time, huh,
Yeah,
Schlegs?
it's one of those deals where the cruise was, at first it was kind of like all the money was raised on the ship. Boat. And then through the family over 13 years, people want to do philanthropic work themselves. Mm-hmm. And now Chris and Lisa and the entire staff, Kyle, Nikki, Kim, Ashley, Derek, like all these people that work at Travel Partners are serving them that want to do that. And before we even left, I think the number was close to 3 million. I know for a fact we probably had at least 3 events during the year that went over $300,000. Yep. And then, but everybody wants to do something. There was teenagers that did things in their own communities, and all that money goes back to the James. But they really are the ones that inspired that philanthropic drive to donate back to this great cause. And it's really humbling when you get to be around the survivors, because it's more than even just the survivor battling cancer. It's the people that are walking the journey with them, their spouses, the families that are on there. And for us to have an opportunity as athletes that they enjoyed watching to have a relationship, because that's what you get to go back and kind of hang out with all those people and hug on them. And so that is what's really special about it. It's the culmination of an entire year where we can celebrate what the Buckeye Cruise family has done to give back to the James and hopefully do the research that helps find a cure for cancer there.
Yeah, I talked about it being a family reunion for us, but it's the same on the boat. You meet so many people from different areas of the country.
Yes.
And you get to see them every year on that boat. They're back because you go, you have a great time, you're coming back.
Right.
And so you get to see all those groups of people and spend time with them throughout the week. And it's just a very special thing. Very lucky to be a part of it.
Yeah, and a shout out to Roosters.
Yeah, man.
I was going to say,
they had 1,600 wings or something like that on the boat.
They had a wing tasting.
How many did Schlegs have?
I didn't do that. That was one of the things.
I did the wing tasting.
I had to take my shirt off and dance around like Patrick Swayze. Right?
I don't.
Do that.
So I ate all the wings on the boat, yeah.
Roosters gives over $1 million a year to local charities, and $155,000 of that was given back to the James on this ship. So what everybody does at Roosters, one, yes, we enjoy it. It's a fun, casual joint. We have a fun, casual conversation. Their food is great, but you got a local business that is giving back in a big way. Like, that's why we enjoy doing the show here, but it's also why you should go and visit them, because you know where your money's going. You got people that have a high GSF, man, and they just want to give back and make Columbus better.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was going to
just take the show back from me, Schlegs. You couldn't have said it any better than that.
I'm back.
And just to add, for the people who've never been on there, I know you go online, maybe see pictures or see Twitter or Instagram posts, but for us, I think, well, really for me being back in 7 years, being on the stage, and they welcome up on the stage all the survivors. Mm-hmm. So they introduce all the athletes, and we're on stage, and then we kind of make a tunnel, and like a tunnel of pride, and then all the survivors actually get called up onto that stage on opening night. So that was really, really cool. Yeah. And then the last day, the survivor breakfast. So you got to sit down with some survivors and their families and friends and just kind of talk and fellowship. And that was just a real surreal experience, just having that kind of dialogue, eating breakfast and, seeing them thanking us for being on the boat, us thanking them for their experiences, and just know that cancer's touched so many people's lives. It's touched mine, losing my mother to breast cancer, losing my grandmother to breast cancer. So I know it hits home in some way, 6 degrees of separation, they say, in life. So we've all been affected in some way, but to be on that boat and that experience and help raise funds to try to, help with a cure was a lot of fun.
It's pretty cool how some of these, younger guys, like use that in quotes, they're a year into the NFL careers, Terry McLaurin and Paris Campbell. I mean, last year at this time, I was going to Indianapolis to cover them at the NFL Combine. I'm about to go do that again this week, and you'll see next year probably Chase Young out there. And, J.K. Dobbins.
Those guys are in the prime of their lives in the NFL with all the all the money that comes with that, and they're still saying, I want to be a part of this Buckeye Cruise. I want to be a part of something bigger that's going on here, and that's the special thing, man. In that young group we had this year, they were awesome. There wasn't a guy who was like, oh, I don't know about it. They were great.
Enjoyed it.
Hands down.
Fans. Fans are coming up, thanking me like, oh, we got some young guys. It's great to see them being involved. And Elisa and them do a great job of just separating and organizing the athletes in different events and like spreading it out. I know Schlegel has like a nice little, little deal where he kind of does some stuff on stage. But throughout all of the couple days, you kind of had the opportunity to be involved. If you wanted to be in the wing tasting, you got Zwick there. If you wanted to be in the belly flop, belly smacker contest, I'm judging.
Beer tasting, I was there too. Beer and whiskey tasting.
Right, yeah. So you just have so much, going on the boat with different events. But the highlight for me was Coco Cay. They did a great job. Coco Cay, Royal Caribbean, pumping in over $200 million into that island.
Amazing.
It was amazing. And for Lisa and travel partners to get that island just for us by ourselves, because usually they have 2-3 boats maybe.
They have 4 boats
sometimes.
Yeah.
We had
at some point.
It was just the Buckeyes.
It was only our cruise, only just the Buckeyes. So the water slides, the freshwater pool, the swim up bar, like it was so accessible, at any given moment, and it was just a lot of fun.
Well, I'm glad you guys are back and had a great time out there.
Hang on, man.
Come on, dude.
Hey, I mean, it was a long cruise.
Yeah. And not the new cabanas too. The sandbars.
We're already selling 2021 cruises right here.
We had Darius Rucker.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Listen.
Thank you.
Yes.
Darius is awesome.
Go watch Darius Rucker in concert, because he is awesome. I've seen him multiple times, but his show is phenomenal. And he stayed on the ship with us that last night. And so he did his – and normally the guys are on for like an hour. He was on for an hour and a half. And he did some songs just for Chris and Lisa and their staff. And then he hung out with people. He was in the casino. He was in the Vortex.
Was in the club, yeah.
He got what it was all about. And then we did the Football 101, Justin, and it was really cool. Now, this kind of goes in kind of what we all talked about, but the humility side, and true humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. And that's what all of our guys do. And then we were asking them questions because I want to know, and I wanted the audience of women to know kind of what we do at Ohio State. And it was cool how they talked about how Ohio State prepared them for the league through a routine, how to be a pro, all these things that made them head and shoulders above their peers that are trying to figure it out on their own, but they themselves know it because of what Ohio State has done. And then they come on a cruise like this with us, who are able to show them, hey, here's how you can just interact. Guess what? It doesn't matter that you're a rookie NFL wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
All rookie team. Like, he's just out there hanging out with his dad, hugging people. But you know what? Everybody does that too. And so now they start to see, like, okay, I got a big platform. They will carry that with them to Washington, to Indy, and wherever they are playing. So super fun, lots of money raised. Next year, the number's probably already going to be $5 million that we got to go.
Right.
Right?
Gotta
We got to go.
Gotta
We got to go work.
Already.
And it's already started.
Already.
You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
So, but I'm sorry. I wanted to throw that nugget in there.
All right,
As I eat this, look, I only
Well,
got. Here, I'm just grabbing them. I put my hands
basket's
on.
already gone. Well,
Yeah.
you did tee it up again there with your football 101 there, Schlegs. I mean, that's why you've been such a good co-host. You know where to take it because they have been prepared now from Ohio State. They're going to Indy. Spencer Holbrook and I will be there all week for Lettermen Row, trying to get as much combine coverage as we can for these guys. 11 Buckeyes will be there.
Wow.
There were a couple
11.
more, I think, that probably should have been invited and didn't get. I think Spencer can correct me, but Jay Sean Cornell is not going to be there. I thought that was a guy who should have been in the mix. Robert Landers won't be there. But it's still like they're going to have a pro day in about a month. But for going into this combine and, Chase Young doesn't need to work out. He announced that's already out. He's not going to do anything other than get measured and do interviews this week. I wonder if that'll be the case for Jeff Okudah. We're going to follow that throughout this week. But this is kind of an interesting infomercial for Ohio State this week because they're going to be at the top of the draft and then 11 guys, maybe more, that could fill it out. How important is the combine? How difficult is the training for you guys that have been through this process before?
Well, I mean, it's.
Did you work out at the combine?
I did not.
No?
I chose not to.
Big time.
I chose not to work out at the combine. It was not as commercialized as it is now.
Yeah.
If I'd have had the NFL Network and everything, it was still like close quarters.
You weren't watching on TV.
Exactly.
It was kind of like shut down.
Right. It was.
Get in.
It was like Fort Knox.
It's hard for us to even come. They don't let us in there to watch the guys run the 40. Like we're isolated in one room.
Wow.
They do these interviews.
You get them when they come to the podium.
And then you get here's the results.
Here's
what they ran the 40.
Here's the results. Okay.
It's weird how it's become this massive
commercialized,
like TV event,
right?
But it's also really isolated and small. Like you're in there. There's not a crowd watching you run.
Right.
Not a huge crowd watching you lift. It's just And you guys, these athletes and these guys have been spending 2 months since the end of their careers, like training to run the 40 every single day and wanting to get up a bench press total. It's really wild how. Because they're not even playing football. They're not wearing pads this week.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, it's probably the most dedicated time in a college athlete's life where they're transitioning and they're making their resume. This is their chance to put their live resume out there with numbers, but then ultimately really get in front of the coaches, the general managers, the presidents, the owners, and has had that dialogue to say, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to bring to your organization. The guys ask those guys a lot of questions, and you got the Wonderlic test. You got a lot of different things. It's also where, you kind of get prodded around. Your shirt's off. You're walking around the skivvies, and, they're measuring your hand size. They're measuring your wingspan. They're checking, how tall you are. I was 6 foot in high school. I got to Ohio State. I was a 5'11", and when I got to the NFL combine, I was 5'10" and a half. It's like I just got
now
short.
You're like 5'7". I feel like I don't know. You just keep going down.
But the experience, I think, has gotten, like I said, more commercialized. So it's a great platform for someone who's like under the radar or middle of the road, where you just kind of you had the talent. You might not play at a big university, and you kind of got selected to be there, and all of a sudden, you run that 40, and poof, David Copperfield, as Schlegel would say.
If you're gonna put a number up,
if you're gonna put a number up, if you're gonna come out of nowhere or really solidify your top ranked position, this is a great platform to do that.
Yeah, I think more importantly is the interviews.
Yes.
Because you're there with the team. I mean, they know what you do. They know you're going to be fast. You're at the combine.
Yep.
You played in college football. You're going to be an athlete. I think getting a chance to sit down with these coaches and showing them, what's up here for a lot of these guys is huge.
It's huge. And just to be different, we just had like them big hoodies with our numbers, DB 39 or whatever. I remember my sweatshirt. But when I went into my interviews, I put on some slacks. I put a button-up shirt on. I walked in with my glasses on. I went in there like, and I remember the Pittsburgh Steelers asked me, like, why are you dressed up? I said, this is a job interview. Like, this is my chance to show you, who I am, what I represent, how I'm going to be in your community. And I want to make sure that you see that transparency. You can see what's on tape. That's fine. You can see me making plays. That's fine. But in the sense of my personality,
Mike Doss, the person, this is what you're going to get.
Here's our chance to dialogue.
So that's a little different than DK Metcalf ripping off the shirt with Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what Schlegs would have done through that process.
Well, at that time
Schlegs, man, it took some years. Schlegs was a beast back in the day.
At that time in my life, I tipped the scales at 251.
He was a big dog.
And it looked like a bowling ball with long hair on top of a keg with some toothpicks. And that was awful. Don't ever find that image. I hope they burned it.
They're putting them on T-shirts.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this.
That'll be the next one for homage right there.
I'll tell you this. So to me, the combine it's the eye test,
Yep.
right? It's the thumbs up or thumb down because everybody has already done all the research on you as a player. Now and then you have like the Senior Bowl and the East-West Shrine game, and they get to see you play against like peers, right? And so as far as like your draft grade.
Correct. Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, all right, what does he have to run a 40 in to be a Mike? Did he do it? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or I don't know, and I need a pro day. Same thing with the bench. Same thing with the Wonderlic. Like, it's more of like, all right, he is who we think he is. This. All right. Oh, did he surprise us in a couple areas? Oh, okay, he surprised us. So now where is he compared to the person that we had slotted above him?
Yep.
Or is there some deficiencies that we didn't see on film, and now we really have to truly evaluate if he's worth that type of pick? So that, to me, it's really the thumbs up, thumbs down or in the middle of the road. But the good thing for Ohio State, and even the guys that didn't go, Andrew Norwell didn't get an invite either.
Yeah.
Andrew Norwell was an undrafted free agent. But guess what? Andrew Norwell is a freaking mauler.
Yeah.
And he's the highest paid guard in the NFL.
He's also rich, yeah.
And so those guys that don't go, it's never about that. Really, the combine, too, is how I look at the draft, it's always about the fits.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I would have much rather have been a fifth-round draft pick to a team that wanted me to develop me, that knew where I was, than a third-round pick to the Jets when they really didn't know because their linebacker situation. Like, you don't want that. It's always about the fits. And so when you go there, you also are kind of learning them of, all right, if it doesn't work out and now I'm cut, who are some coaches that I met that I would really like to go to that organization as an option?
Absolutely.
Because it's not like you're talking to these guys all the time.
It's facts.
You know, so you get them at this day and you get them at your pro day, and those are the lasting impressions that you want, even in the drill work, and why the pro day is so critical. Every person will be here for pro day.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what separates Ohio State from us and everybody else. And I had scouts even, like, I remember your linebacker pro day because it was just me, Bob, and AJ, and they were supposed to go 20 minutes. We went 25, and we never dropped the ball.
Right.
It was just like, you guys were smooth. You guys were competing with each other. You guys caught every ball. You guys were pros. And then what that does is, hey, I'm not as fast as AJ or Bobby or how they look, but it's like, yeah, I went up that day because of how I handled myself and how I performed and I did everything. Because not everybody can have and do what Mike did. Like, there's some guys that are just on that bubble. It's like, I got to go work out.
Yes.
Right? Mike didn't have to. Right? Some of the top-tier guys, they don't have to go work out. They can if they want, but it's now you're evaluating, and I look at this in a business, it's your valuation.
Yes.
Right? Like, your signing bonus is your valuation of acquiring Mike Doss LLC and what they bring to the table. Like, that's what it is. So everything that you do now in this process goes into increasing or decreasing your valuation on draft day for somebody to draft you.
And just to add, for me, I mean, most people look at me and they think I was a first-round pick. I was a second-round pick. I was the 59th pick. So if there's something I would take back and say, I probably would have competed in the Senior Bowl, but I did the East-West because of the charities for the children out there on the East Shrine game. And then the Combine, if I knew how the Combine was getting to the stage as it is now on national TV on the hype, I'd have been the first one, like with my GoPro camera or something, like, hey, this Mike Dawson at the Combine, like just to draw that energy, you know what I mean, just to feed that,
get some of that momentum,
get that momentum, and
ball out,
and you know, worked out and did drills and ran. But I mean, but as Slake said, when you play for the Ohio State, you know, on your pro day that you're going to have at least 5-6 general managers, 8 to 10 head coaches, and with Chase, you know, coming out this year, Kuda coming out this year. I mean, you're going to have JK.
You're going to have somebody
you're going to have a representative from every team, if not 10, probably half. The top 12 picks will be top 15 picks. Head coaches will be there, and general managers will be right here in Columbus.
Well, you mentioned it there because you're gonna have Dobbins. I think he can be the first running back off the board. Chase is obviously going to be the first defensive player off the board.
Akuda's going to be the top 10
cornerback.
Yeah,
I really think that there's a chance that Jonah Jackson could be the first interior lineman taken.
Okay,
that's number 4.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have people looking at Malik Harrison, Damon Arnett is second, third round pick. Jordan Fuller. Know what he did after 4 years playing. I mean, and I could keep going. Brandon Bowen.
Yeah.
It's
keep going.
So it's even better for those guys that didn't get that invite.
Let's feed it.
They know they're going to be there.
Then I didn't get to the 3 right wide receivers where now the way you see what happened with Terry McLaurin, and
Right.
Bruce Campbell was hurt, and Johnny Dixon was on the practice squad a little bit. But KJ Hill now with the records.
Yep.
Austin Mack, he was injured, but Ben Victor, you got 3 of those guys that played under Hartline and have a lot of big game experience. I mean, it's
The
It's
NFL
crazy
coaches
amount.
know like how
Yes.
these receivers are coming to the league, so
Right.
they're going to be like, let's go check these guys
They
out. You know, let's
come
go
to
find the
Columbus.
diamond in the
You
rough.
coming to Columbus
And,
to
yeah,
see,
exactly.
to see the talent live in person. And as Slade say, we didn't add real big too about the combine is the medical process. So any situation or any injury that you've had throughout your, or a pulled hamstring, whatever it was, they are going to take you straight to the MRIs, X-rays, full body, everything. I mean, they did everything to me. I had a finger, and they took me to 4 different X-rays. Like the Dolphins wanted this, the New England wanted to know like what's going on. I had a hamstring. They was like, let's see what's going. I went so. You're going to go through that strenuous where they're grabbing on your shoulders, and he's like grabbing on my arm and stuff. He's like, okay, did you AC joint? And, like, just checking you out just to know. Because
I got invited to the Colts camp. I didn't get to combine or anything. I got invited to go to rookie minicamp.
Yep.
I got an MRI on my back.
Right.
I'm like, what? Like, I'm like the 4th quarterback here. You guys are sending me to get an MRI? Like, this is crazy.
That's right.
So they check off all those boxes on
check all
anybody
those
that they
boxes,
have
man.
in that building.
So, Jay-Z, if we're going to talk about quarterbacks here, and Joe Burrow's going to go number 1 most likely, and everyone is talking right now, does he want to go to
Is he gonna
Cincinnati?
do an Eli
Can he sit it
Manning?
out, wanting Eli Manning? Like, I have a hard time believing that, knowing Joe Burrow the way that some of us do, that he would take on that challenge. But are you buying any of that at all with him?
I think he's a kid who's just going to put his head down and work, and I'd be very surprised if he comes out and says, I don't want to play here, I want to be here, this or that. I think he's just going to say, listen, I'm the first pick of the draft. That doesn't suck.
Right.
No matter where you end up.
Right.
Like, that doesn't suck. The life is good. So
Hey.
you want to be, and then the rest
I
of your
agree.
life, you're known as the first pick in the draft for that year's draft.
I agree. You're absolutely right.
Like you said, just knowing the keys from Ohio, from, down south, coming back to Ohio, like it seems to be a perfect fit almost,
Yeah.
So I
Storybook.
expect him
Storybook.
It's a storybook.
That's
Yeah.
storybook.
It really
But
is.
they got to give him some stuff.
They got to give him some talent. They got to surround him.
Yeah,
they got to
give him
surround him
some
with
juice.
some talent.
They do
For
need
sure.
to do that, but he can't make that much money. They're not
That's
the same
the hard
deals
part,
they're not the same deals that those quarterbacks were getting back in the day. Matthew
Right.
Stafford, $50 million.
Yeah.
It's all
signing
locked in
bonus.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think
Bam.
that will
Oh, yeah.
help. They just gotta they can't miss on draft picks or they can't miss on free agent signings, and they just got to get shore up that offensive line and maybe get him a couple more weapons. But I think he'd be a great fit
Right.
down there, and I think Cincinnati would love having him.
They
there.
will love-
I
I
think he
think
will
the
do a
state-
great
You gotta
job.
put people in the seats.
I think he's going to put people in the seats. Him or Chase. But obviously, Joe Burrows they need a quarterback. That's what they need to do.
Everybody loves the
I
quarterbacks.
think
They
Joe
come to
Burrows.
see the quarterbacks.
Right. And he's
So sexy.
yeah.
All right, that feels like a good time to take a break right there and get Schlick some more mac and
It's
cheese.
already
bite.
gone, bro.
Yeah, we'll get you another basket. We'll be
I
right back
attacked and
here.
dominated.
Lettermen Live, brought to you by Roosters. We'll be right back.
Roosters is one of the unique companies that we deal with. They're involved in everything we do, from our personal foundation to also the Cancer Research Fund. And that's from the Buckeye Cruise from Cancer to all the events leading up to the Buckeye Cruise.
They donate back to different organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long, long time.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Lettermen Live, brought to you by Roosters. Last couple segments here. Hey, spring ball is suddenly just about a week away, guys.
Shut the front door.
Can
for
you
A
real?
week away?
Like,
Who does that?
maybe it helps that we have every Monday with Lettermen Live to pass the time. but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I didn't even
dang.
know what
Spring
month
ball-
are we in.
I mean, it's the end of February, last
Yeah,
week of February.
gummit.
Some spring camps have already started around the country.
Have they really?
And I
That's
love
real
it.
talk.
I don't know why.
Why do you love it?
What the rush would be? I love
It
spring
just
ball.
means football's coming back around. That's why.
Well, for me personally, Schlegs, it's because it's the only time of year that we ever get to watch practice. So I have 4 or 5 days.
You never get to go.
not the
and
full
watch it
time. You
during
remember
the
back in the
season?
day? They used to
During
watch
the
us
season?
warm up. That was it.
No.
I mean, Tress would kick them out.
Oh.
So there
Okay,
are
never mind.
there's one, possibly
Should
two
work on that, Will.
in training camp. Hey, we're Jerry Emig. We can get with that. Ryan Day's been a little bit more open than Urban was. Some of this has shifted depending on who the coach is, and that's always who's going to make the final call there. But last year in spring we had 2 completely open practices and 2 that were open for an hour. So those are the most valuable hours that I have all year round. Get them at the bowl game at the end of the year. You can see some of the young guys where they're contractually mandated to let us get in the door. But in the spring in the season they can do whatever they want. And once that season starts, there's no 15 minutes of stretching anything during the week. Nothing. So when we need information, that's when a lot of my opinions are formed, March and April.
Okay.
That's a big deal for me.
Got
I would
it.
think the coaching staff too.
That's huge.
That's where you make your opinions too. They're starting already. Urban used to say, and Ryan Day hasn't said this as much, that training camp in August is for getting ready for the opener, and March and April is where you go win a job. And I don't know how true that is, but I think that I can see why he would say that.
No, it's very true because, 11 guys are at the combine, guys are graduating. You have off-season that we talked about a couple weeks ago on how important that is. Like, that's how your coaches are knowing you. And you got Kerry Combs coming in, and he's new, so he gets the eyeballs on the guys and where they are, and he's a defensive coordinator. So he's getting to see, who competes, number one thing, right? And we talked about this at Football 101. It's culture over talent all the time. So who buys into our culture? Who's competing at a high level, who's a winner, right, more than they are a loser. And then we're going to take all that information, which really backs the culture, and boom, here's our depth chart based on what they've been doing, right? If they haven't been a starter already, right, it's open for competition. And now every day, and teaching the kids every day, I got to go to practice ready to compete to earn a job. And it's not even the spring game, it's the Saturday before the spring game when it really happens because, hey, it's live, we're competing. And
ones versus ones.
Yeah, put it out there, right?
Yeah.
And so that's, like you said, to being able to go watch those guys and actually see freshmen competing against seniors.
Yeah.
It's a great time to see where they are and how much of a gap they need to catch up. Then, now we're into summer conditioning, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't care for the spring game itself because it's not a competitive game.
Yeah.
The hard work, as you said, is done. The live scrimmage at the end is what I would want to watch if I got to pick anything when you're competing for the jobs. I know.
You get to watch that one?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Will, we should do something about that.
Yeah, we should do something.
Hey,
Get
come on, Will.
I'll go down there. Hey, we have a great relationship with the SID staff and that coaching
They're the
staff
best.
right
Jerry's
now.
amazing.
And they have asked our opinions on what they should and shouldn't do. That doesn't mean that they're going to
Yeah.
do it. If I said, because I don't, the truth is I don't want all 15 practices open because that means I have to go to them.
Yeah.
And, hey, and
Your Easter's gone.
I will work as hard as anybody on this beat. You guys know that. But
for sure.
No.
but 3 hours of practice, there's only so much I can learn. If you guys aren't there to tell me
Better get
the
a
X's
pair
and
of
O's,
Right, right.
there's not so
stand
much
over
that I
there
can
and
do there.
That's
So,
facts. That's facts.
but I want 4 or 5 times. I'd like to see a scrimmage. I'd like to see a jersey scrimmage in training camp and see. You guys know the days that matter.
Right.
Those are the ones that I would want to be there for. But we're not going to get everything we want.
That's how it goes. I think going into spring ball, I think the coaches kind of have an idea through. I don't know if you were there. You were a coach. Do you get an idea of who you can trust going into spring ball? All right, listen, these guys. This Mike Doss over here, man. During these last couple months of training, he's stepped up. He's going to be our guy. We're going to lean on once we get to spring ball. But you start seeing he's going to be that guy there's a spot open. He's been busting his tail. We trust him to be there every day, given everything he has. Let's go ahead and maybe put him on that depth chart and see how he goes right out the gate in spring ball. I mean, I imagine watching these kids work out and seeing how they are in the with their peers, maybe watching leadership skills.
Yeah.
I mean, that all is what you can be doing right now going into that spring. So as a coach, I imagine you'd be saying, all right, these guys had a killer, 6 a.m. workout. Or whatever, the mat drills, whatever they're called now. That probably goes a lot into getting ready for spring ball.
I remember that happened in 14, Schlegs, when we showed up for the first day. We got to watch that day, and Darren Lee was out there at outside linebacker. It was all based on the offseason.
Yeah.
He was not someone that anyone who had their
was expecting to be
preseason projected depth chart
around them. Right.
was not in there.
Right.
Darren Lee was not in there. And it was all because you guys in the strength staff said, put him out there, right?
Yeah.
Right, because he competed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is when we form the groups for our competition drills, it's good on good where you are. And you want to be the first guy, and then we get to pair them up like, hey, we're doing this N drill or the M, or we're doing hoops, or we're doing whatever. And we're constantly competing. It's like, okay, I need this guy to develop. All right, Joshua Perry, you play linebacker. John Simon, you play defensive end. Guess what? I'm pairing you guys together, and Joshua might have won the first 2, but John Simon's winning the next 8, and we want to see how Joshua reacts, right, to getting beat, because Johnny's motor was just endless, right? So now we're strategically placing those guys together to see how they compete, to see how when they're gonna crumble, and then how do they continue to go throughout their workout, right? So all of that information, all the competition that we do in the weight room, all of that gets put into where is the kid evaluated after winter conditioning. And here's the thing, though. The head strength coach, Mickey Marotti, has to be on the same page with head football coach Ryan Day, because if the kids know that what I do in the weight room doesn't matter and it's all projected upon,
Five
what
stars or
what the coach
Yeah.
perceives,
Yep.
guess what they're not going to do? They're not going to spill it during that time. So they have to know, right?
They got to be on the same
that
page.
everything I do is
It all
intentional.
connects, yeah.
It's all
and it all
evaluated.
works together,
Yeah.
right? It's all, you're
Classroom
always
as
being
well.
evaluated.
Being ready, being classroom ready.
Yeah.
Just making sure, hey, I can carry a workload of classes. I can go to practice. I can do my workouts.
Take care of what you're
I
supposed
can
to take care of. Yeah.
take care of what I'm supposed to take care of, so I can be, accountable.
Because the coach will trust you.
Yes.
Like if
That's
you
what it's
don't
about.
do that in January and February and March,
Yeah,
like
they're
how
going
am I
to
going to
chase you
trust
down
you
for
during
everything.
that?
They're not going to
Exactly.
chase
How am
you
I
down
gonna-
on the field.
Exactly.
Right.
How am I going to trust you to do that during the season? I don't want to
Right.
be chasing my guys around when I should be breaking down film to beat Wisconsin or Penn State or the team up north, right?
Yeah.
So all of that goes into it, but you have to have the accountability, the standard of excellence, and all the coaches being on the same page. To me, when I go out throughout the country, that's the biggest disconnect. It's
Yes.
like here's the weight room,
Yep.
and here's football,
Yep.
right? And we had
we
that,
had it that way, yeah.
right? And I don't like that.
No.
I like how they do it at Ohio State. Like I think that's the best way. And so when you do that, though, the kids are always in. They're always invested, and you're teaching them the routine of what it means to be a pro all the time. Because there is no magical switch. There is no clothes that you can wear. That you
No,
can
it's
turn it
nothing
on and off.
You can't go by that finish line. Foot Locker. You just listen. It's not. They don't have that on the rack anywhere. You just got. It's just either in you. It's embedded in you. You've taught. You've learned it, and it comes out. But like you said, I mean, these kids, they have to understand. The competition is going to what they say, the cream rise to the top. So this is your opportunity this spring to allow, those freshmen that came in here just in January. They've kind of, been in the system almost 8 weeks now. They got these practices coming up. And then you got your sophomores and juniors who've been chipping at the bit like, hey, man, here's an opportunity. And I know that defensive back room,
It's
right
wide open.
is wide open.
Oh, yeah.
It is wide open. So you got, I think we down a couple guys over the last 2 weeks for some other reasons. But at the end of the day, you probably got 7-8 guys right now that's going to be competing for 4 spots,
Yep.
potentially. So, until some more guys come in August. But at the end of the day, if I'm one of them defensive backs right now, I'm in the classroom. I'm getting with Coach Combs. I'm coming to his classroom because I'm knocking school out and I'm coming to meet with him. Hey, what do you like? What are your favorite calls? Okay, what did you do down at Tennessee? What are you still going to, what did you do here before that I can go back and watch film on how you coached up? These are the drills we're going to do every day. I promise you, I will watch
doing
all
those
the
drills.
3 years ago. I'm going back to the ABCs, ADCs, everyday drills, whatever. And I'm watching that. So when I come out there, first day, I'm first. Hey, coach, this is the first drill you like? Okay, he gets to talk about the drill. I'm first. I'm ready. I got you. Yeah. I've been practicing on my own. I've been in the indoor for half an hour, 45 minutes. Hey, I watched it on tape. I got my iPad. I'm out here working on myself. So when I get looked at, it's from their evaluation of I'm comfortable now.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm comfortable. I've
you've
talked
done
to
those
coach.
drills.
I've
You've
done
been
those
there.
drills. Now I can show leadership. Hey guys, let me coach you up. This is what coach wants. So you build building that trust and that camaraderie with your coach, but you're also taking that leadership role. And then what it comes down to now, can I make plays in this system, right? So these kids, have the opportunity with the technology and everything today. You could be in your apartment with your iPad breaking down film.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
crazy.
It's
They used to give us DVDs.
Yeah,
back then, like,
you had
put it in and
you had a
nothing's on the
DVD.
screen.
You had a DVD.
Well, I know,
I had
yeah.
VHSs.
That's real.
It's
That is
real.
real, yeah.
It's real. So, or I had to spend hours and logging in. Like, hey man, can you break? Let me see that third down cut up tape. All right. They go, give me 30 minutes. Now it's like, give me 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Boom. So
All in there, logged.
all
It's
in there.
awesome.
I'm
Guys-
eating. They got the state of the art facility, weight room,
You don't ever have to
food.
leave.
You ain't gotta leave. I'm telling you, I
I've
have a
been
cot.
270.
Hey, I'm gonna figure. Hey, I would have figured out how to have like my air mattress off my locker or something where I can have a pillow. Like just hit
So
that
my
little motor.
golf swing would be a lot better. They got that simulator in there. I'd have
I need,
been
to
on-
buy I need to buy a pass to the Woody
I
Simulator.
know, right? Yeah,
Get
exactly.
the game ready for real spring.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, played yesterday, and it wasn't quite springtime weather yet. But
No.
it also wasn't cruise weather, so I'm glad
No.
you guys are
Oh
back.
man, I
spicing
got a
up the
tan.
show.
Slade's got a tan.
I feel
Zwick got a
great,
tan.
man. I feel great.
And it's hard for me to get a tan. I'm
I got
already,
burnt.
I'm already brown enough.
If you guys want some
But-
more good weather, you can come with me to Indianapolis. this
Hey,
week.
yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
go
yeah.
get it.
I'm going to miss that.
All right, so that's the combine. Spencer Holbrook and I will be there all week. Great to have these guys back with us. This has been Letterman Live, brought to you by our good friends at Roosters. We're going to be right back here Monday. Until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and you know we got Buckeye Q with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.